Shalom everybody, I'm Rolene Marks and this is the Israel Brief, where you join me and my wonderful Israel briefers from all around the world every Monday to Thursday for your news that makes the top stories here in Israel. And of course, it's the news you are not going to hear on Sky or CNN or BBC, but you will get it right here. And as always, we are brought to you in partnership with these guys, Lay of the Land. Now, a few things before I get into those top stories. I want to encourage you to do something very special. One of our wonderful viewers called Mike Leibold, who lives in the US, has written the most magnificent prayer for our hostages. It's an instrumental piece of music. It is up on our Facebook or Meta page, and I encourage everybody to take a listen. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I hope that one day we get to play it for all of our hostages and their families, and it brings them some comfort. Just a reminder that next week I will be on conference with World WITA's meeting of representatives, so I will try my absolute best from wherever I am to bring you your Israel brief. We will be in different places around the country. And also just a reminder, and this is very, very important, especially in light of the sensitivity with all of the negotiations around the hostages and a possible deal. There are a lot of WhatsApp groups that people subscribe to. Now, one of the big issues that we have is many of them are not credible journalists, they're not accredited journalists, and they share information that is not necessarily verified. At the moment, things are very, very sensitive here, and the lives of our hostages and of course the mental well-being of their families is paramount. There have been several groups, some of them very popular amongst people, who have disseminated erroneous information throughout the last couple of days about the details of the deal, and we only have very, very few details that have been made public, and about who could be released and when. This is not factual and not true, and not only is it dangerous, especially for our hostages whose lives are literally at stake here, but also creates a tremendous amount of trauma for our families, not to mention the fact that it poses a possible security risk. So I just want to get that out there, because we all have to consume information responsibly and make sure that the safety and the security of our hostages and of course our soldiers remains paramount. So with that said, let's take a look at those top stories. It is day 467 and we still have those 98 hostages, and we are waiting with bated breath to see what will happen. Now, according to the Wall Street Journal just a short while ago, they believe that the final details for this release and ceasefire are being ironed out. And according to the details that we know, I just lost my train of thought there because there's so much information. This is what we know. Now, this is information that has been made public. The first phase of the deal is expected to release 33 hostages, including women and children, in exchange for 50 Palestinian prisoners for each female soldier released. Now, we don't have an indication on that list who is alive and who unfortunately isn't alive anymore. What we do know is that our prisons authorities, our law enforcement agents that are participating will be equipped with camera equipment so that we don't have any false claims from released prisoners about the state that they were released in. No terrorists that participated in the 7th of October attacks, these are Nukhba terrorists, will be released, and some terrorists with life sentences will be released. Later phases will address the remaining hostages and troop withdrawals. In this initial phase, the military issues are extremely complex, but according to the BBC, Israeli forces will withdraw from populated areas but will retain control of the Philadelphia corridor and an 800-meter wide buffer zone. This phase is expected to last about 42 days, and we will see an increase of humanitarian aid to about 600 trucks. Now, those are the only details that have been made public and are released for public consumption. Anything other than that is absolute nonsense. The only people who know the minutiae of the deal are those sitting in that negotiation room, and the President of the United States, the President-elect, and Prime Minister Netanyahu, and various high-ranking officials. Now, what we do know is that Bezalel Smotrich, one of our more right-leaning politicians, is still deciding whether or not he supports this deal. We have seen rallies in support and against the deal. And yesterday I brought you that news that Itamar Ben-Gvir had said that he and his party had scuppered several deals in the past, but now lack the political power to do so. In the meantime, medical experts and psychologists are preparing for the possible release of the hostages. From the reports that they have released on former hostages, we know that they are in severe medical condition as well as severe psychological trauma. So this is why I appeal to everybody to handle information around this very sensitively, and also our language that we use very sensitively. The Hind Rajab organization, whose founder has ties to Hezbollah and whose latest trend now is to appeal for the arrest of IDF soldiers, asked the Italian authorities to arrest Major General Hassan Alian, who is the commander of the IDF's Kogat unit, on suspected war crimes. Now, Kogat is that unit within the IDF that is responsible for the coordination of humanitarian aid in Gaza and the West Bank, and of course the coordination of getting those who need urgent medical care out of the Gaza Strip and to hospitals in the UAE and around the world for urgent medical care. Now, he's filed a case against Alian at the International Criminal Court, certainly no friend of Israel, and there's a whole issue around the ICC and their jurisdiction and credibility. And we remember that last week the US House of the Senate voted in an overwhelming majority to sanction the court for its treatment of Israel and for its abuse of its jurisdiction and international law. Meanwhile, Alian has returned to Israel. He was there on an official visit to Italy on behalf of Kogat, and according to reports, that visit went smoothly. We are all watching the fires and their progression in Los Angeles with absolute broken hearts. And I've brought you in the last 2 days the news that Israel Smart Aid is on the ground and operational. Yesterday, I brought you the news that Israel Aid and Zaka are preparing to send their delegations. They've offered aid. And now Israel's fire and rescue services have announced that they will be sending 5 fire prevention experts to Los Angeles, where they will work with authorities and experts on the ground there to help battle the blazes. They will stay there for about a week. Now, Israel, although much smaller than the United States, we have experienced massive fires before. If you recall, in 2016, there were huge fires around the Haifa area. And if I recall, they were started by arsonists and they destroyed about 600 homes. So we, unfortunately, are experts ourselves in dealing with massive fires and the damage that they cause. And finally, we go to Ireland. No coincidence, I'm wearing an Irish sweatshirt. And representatives of Ireland's Jewish community have asked President Higgins not to attend the annual Holocaust memorial ceremonies that will take place on the 27th of January. The 27th of January is International Holocaust Memorial Day. Yesterday I brought you the story about His Majesty King Charles and what he was doing in honor of Holocaust survivors, and his visit at the end of this month to the Auschwitz death camp. The community have said that they have lost confidence in the president, and this follows those bizarre comments that he has made blaming anti-Semitism in Ireland on an Israeli conspiracy, and also that ludicrous accusation that Israel had leaked a letter that he had written to his Iranian counterpart. Meanwhile, it was the Iranian embassy themselves that had leaked the letter, and of course Ireland's increasingly hostile stance towards Israel. And finally, let's take a look at the audience question of the day, and it comes from Caroline in Washington, who says, will the Houthis stop firing on Israel during the ceasefire? Now, that's an excellent question. Thank you, Caroline. Because their rationale is, they say they will keep firing on Israel until any hostilities against the Palestinians stop. Now, we are expecting a possible ceasefire, which means that hostilities will stop. Will the Houthi hostilities, not just against Israel, but against shipping lines in the Red Sea, stop as well? I guess we are about to find out, Caroline. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, please pop them in the comment section below or be in touch with us via our website. And don't forget to send me your Mensch and Moron of the week. I have some lovely personal recommendations that are coming in from people, especially in light of the fires in Los Angeles. So keep them coming, and I will announce them tomorrow. So that's it from me for today, guys. Don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Meta/Facebook/ whatever you want to call it page is at Lottle's site. Don't forget to check out Mike Leibold's beautiful instrumental for our hostages. We are on YouTube right here at the Israel Brief, on Instagram at Rolene_Marks, and on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks. So guys, God bless you. Take care of yourselves and each other, and join me again tomorrow. Bye for now.